Hello developers, and welcome to this video where I'm going to help you set up and configure your coding environment in Windows. So we have to do certain configurations and installation in the beginning. So everyone, when we start, is going to start on the same page. So the things that we have to do in this video are simply installing a Node.js. And then after that, we will install a Bun package manager. Then after that, we will install and configure MySQL server, create like a dummy database and try it out. And then after that, we will have to create the database that we will need with this project. And then after that, we will do the simplest task ever, install VS Code, which probably already done. And then lastly, we'll just simply install and configure Git. So probably some of the stuff here, you already done it, or you can do it yourself. That's fine. But simply, if you didn't do one of the steps, just watch that step that you need to do so you can configure it with us. So we can start, as I said in the beginning. So the first thing is installing Node.js. Very simple. Go to a browser, then simply look for Node.js official website, open it, and then simply go download Node.js LTS version, which is the stable one. Then open the installer and simply follow the simple instructions. So next, I accept, then next, and then next, and then install. And you're done. Now it's just a waiting game till it's done. So and when it's done, most of you, if you are using Windows 11, that's the only thing that you have to do. Just simply install it. But probably if you are using Windows 10, there is one step left for you. So let me just show you. So if to know what you have to do, just simply open your command prompt and just simply go and see Node-v to see which version of Node you have. So if you do that and you got a response, so you got the version exactly, that's cool. You don't have to do anything else. But if you got like Node is not recognized, that means you have to add the path of Node in the environment variables. So the path is simply, if you go, let me just simply open the file explorer, then go to the local disk C, and then go to program files, then look for Node.js. So this is the path. Just copy it and then look for environment variables. Sorry, what did I do? Let me just go back and look for environment variables, then click enter, and then go environment variables. Then in the path right here, open it, and then simply it's automatically add npm for us, but you just go new one and add that here also. That's if it's not recognized. If it's recognized, you're cool to go. So do that, and now we have everyone ready to the next step. We just can go now npm-version to see if npm also installed with Node.js. And it is, and it's done automatically. So that's cool. We have npm ready, and we need npm for the next step, as we're gonna use it one more last time to install Bun. So we can use Bun instead of npm or yarn, because I believe Bun is much faster, just much better, and it's so much faster. You will see the difference by your own eyes. Okay, so to install Bun, so let me just clear everything here. So just simply we're gonna go npm install, then -g. So we install it globally, so we don't have to do it for each project now globally. So in any project I want to use, I can do that directly easily. So just simply -g and then Bun and enter. So a few seconds and it's done. So now what we have to do is just simply test it. So how do we test it? There's few ways to do that. Let me just go to my desktop and create a new folder. Let's call this just projects right here. And then simply let me close this tab right here and go to my project here and open it in the terminal. So we are, developers, so we have to be geeky and use the terminal. So let's go right here. So simply now, let's just simply see the files that we have right here. So simply it's empty. Now let's initialize a project there using Bun. So we just simply go Bun init, like when you use npm init, etc. It's very simple. And then you can use -y also, as we used to do, but you can just go simply enter, and it's going to ask you for questions, package name, etc. I'm just going to go everything by default. And as you can see now, if you use there right here, I will see all the files added here, and you can simply now even see your package manager. So you can go like, let's open it on the notepad, and then let's go package.json, and you can see the package.json file. You can use now Bun to install. So simply if you want to install a package, you can just go Bun and then add to add a package, and let's go, for example, is sorted, and then click enter, and it's so fast. As you can see, it's very fast and it's installed. So now if I go again, then notepad package.json, you will have the new dependency right here installed, which is sorted, for example. So also you can go notepad and just open your index.ts. I just want to make sure everything is working .ts, and you will see all it does right here, the code is hello console log hello via Bun. So let's test that. So we can just go Bun and then index.js, and it should print right here hello via ban. So ban is working without any problem. So now we move to the next step. Now it's the time for the MySQL server. So we go back to our browser, and then simply right here, let's just go MySQL and then community and then server, and then enter. And this will take us to the MySQL website. So right here, we can go and download MySQL community server. So choose the version, choose this one. We gotta go with the latest stable one, and then choose the installer you want. So I'm just gonna use the direct installer right here, and I'm gonna go download. Then no thanks, just start my download, and it will start downloading the installation file right here. So let's click it. So when it's done, it's gonna open automatically. So it is done. Let's wait. So as you can see, let me go back, and now it's preparing to install. So we'll go next, and then I accept, then next, and then simply use typical, and then install right here, and just let's go yes. And now it's installing the MySQL server locally for us. So it's done. We have to make sure that we run the configurator right now to make things easier for us. Then yes, here. And as you can see, this is the configuration. So can I actually, well, actually I can't enlarge it. So let's start. So we're gonna go next, and then right here, data directory, leave it as it is, just simply next. And right here, this is the port that we're gonna use. It's a development computer. Let's leave it like that, and then next. So this is the root, password. So when you try to access our MySQL like locally, you will need like a user to access that. So you need certain permissions. So we will try to use the root, as that's like the best way to have like all the permissions accessible for you. So we have to specify a password so we can access our database as a root, which is like the admin. So right here, you can create your code, okay, or password, sorry. So I'm just gonna go with a simple password right here, but you probably have to do something better, okay, but this is just locally simply, so it's not that important as it's just locally, okay. You can create a new user, and I'm going to show you later how to open like the MySQL server using that user, but for now we just have to go with the root, okay. So just make sure you remember this password, it's very important. And we're going to go next right here, and simply this is just the service name. I'm going to go next, and then I'm going to have like full access to the user running the Windows server, and then next, and then simply now we just have to go next. We're not going to create any fake database, we'll do it ourselves. So we're just going to go next, and then execute to apply all the changes that we have made. And it's initializing the database. It might take a long time, so just be patient with me. So let's wait a little bit. So it is done. We just can go now next, and then simply finish. So now let's open our command prompts again, okay, and let's start working right here. So I'm just gonna enlarge it here. So let's access our MySQL server. So first of all, just gonna go MySQL, and when you do that, you have to specify -u to specify which user you wanna use. So as we configure the rules only, so we're gonna use root. And when we try to do that, it's not gonna allow you because it should be with a password. So we're gonna go MySQL -u root and then -p to use as the password. But I forgot it says right here, MySQL is not recognized. Well, when it's do that, that means we didn't add the path. So that's good. Let's add it together. So we're going to go back to our environment variables, then environment variables, and then we're going to go to our path and then open that. And we need to add a new path. So what is the path? Simply go back again to your C drive, and then you have to go to program files, and then we have to look for MySQL and then MySQL server, and then look for the bin folder. And we will have to take that path here. And simply when you do that, you gotta go new and add the path here. Okay, then okay, then okay. So now if you try to do that again, it wouldn't work because you have to restart the terminal. So let's do that again. When we do that, let me go full screen and let's start again. So we done what before, MySQL -u to specify the user and then root. So if you try to access it now, it's gonna say access denied because we didn't provide the password. So now we have to do this again and provide the password. So -p, so we're going to use the password. So when you do that, it's going to say enter password. And that's why I said, remember the password you enter in the configuration when we installed MySQL. So now I'm going to enter that password and I'm going to click enter. And now I am inside MySQL right here and I can run which commands I want. Okay. So we can go with something simple like show databases to show which databases we have. And it says right here, those are the databases we have. So very simple. Now let's try to create like a database. So we can go create and then database, and let's call this DB test, for example, and let's click enter. So now it's been created. Now if you run show databases again, we will have the DB test here, okay, added. So we can select like that DB test. So we can use and then let's go DB underscore test. So we are now there. So we are in that database. So now, for example, I want to like add a table to it. So for example, you can go create table and we can call that user, and it's going to have like an ID. So this ID is just simply going to be like integer, and it's going to be like the primary key. Let's give it auto increment. This is very simple, a very simple SQL. So increment, and it's gonna be the primary key, and then here we're just gonna have a name which is gonna be varchar. Okay, so varchar, we can give it the maximum amount of characters are 50 and not null right here. Okay, and we close that and enter. And oh, did it do that? Create table user. I'm not sure it did that, so let me just make sure. Okay, with this now query is done, so I forgot that. So when it's done, we can now like show, like, let me try to describe the DB test, not the DB test, the table that we have. So which table we create with just the user. So this describe user, and then click enter, and it's gonna show us like what's the schema of the table we are creating. So as you can see right here, ID is type integer, this name varchar, this is like the primary key, etc., and it has the auto increment. So this is very simple. Don't worry about this. You don't have to master this. This is just very basic, and we're not going to use this in our course. I'm just trying to show you that MySQL is working. So now what we have to do before continuing is to create the database that we will need for our project. So you can do it now or you can do it later. So we already done that. You can just go create and then database, and you can call it Ecommerce. Let me just go and call it Multivendor Ecommerce, for example, and then click enter. So now it says you have an error in your SQL syntax. So create database, I forgot an A right here, and then enter. So it is done. So now if we go show databases and enter, so now we have the new database, which is Multivendor Ecommerce, that we will need on our projects. And also remember that, and remember the port we added in the configuration. The port we added in the configuration is 3306. Okay, if I remember correctly, we will say later, because we're gonna need that when we try to connect to our database from our project. We will need the name of the database and also the ports that we use. Okay, so that's just simply what it is for MySQL. Very simple. So the next thing that we have to do now is installing VS Code, which is probably already done. So just skip this. So VS Code right here, and just open the first link and download it for Windows. And I'm gonna show this for the people who have never installed it before, which is 0, because you are all fantastic developers and you have worked with VS Code at least 2,500,000 times. Okay, so I accept, next, and then next, and then next, and let's create a desktop icon, install. Okay, I'm sorry for thinking you can't even do it, but I just have to do it. So if someone is new, we don't judge, of course. If you are new, welcome, and let's start together from the same spot as this course. As it is very advanced, it's also very beginner friendly. Okay, so let's go finish, and this is gonna be our VS Code installed and ready for it to start working. That's very simple. Now let's go to Git. So let me go Git, and then let's go to their downloads page, and then simply we have to install it for Windows. We click that, and let's go for the version 64-bit, and let's click. So when it finishes, it's gonna start installing. So as you can see, let's go yes, and simply now we're gonna go next, 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 everything just next, next, next. You don't have to worry about this stuff. It can all be reconfigured later. Okay, so let's wait till it's installed. So it is done. So what we have to do right now, just go finish, and let's configure a few simple stuff. Let's go back to our command prompt, and let me maximize again. So very simple, you just have to go git and then config and then -- global. So we have to add these settings in the beginning, which is going to be your name. So the username for Git, because it's when you try to send something like, for example, to GitHub, it's going to ask you to do this stuff later. But let's try to do it now so we don't have to do it later. So we done that. So now let's make sure it's work. So let me see if we get that name. Okay, so that means it's work. And then the second thing is just simply your email and just any test of email. So I'm just going to use a random email here. Okay, because this is not even my primary Windows. I'm just using to expand everything from zero. So we've done that. Now we just have go user this email now, and let's click enter, and you can see the email right here. So everything is configured till now. Okay, so this is like the base that everyone needs to do, and we have done it simply for Windows. So yeah, that's it for this video, and see you in the next ones.